Hey everyone, it's me, Sam Osterhout, the executive producer here at Lincoln Square, and I'm really excited to have Michael Fanone and Cliff Cash join today. Guys, how you doing?
Good. Thanks
Hola.
for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, and so I'm having you specifically because you're both planning this rally this weekend, and I definitely want to talk about it. Let me put up the graphic. Um, but there's like a lot of shit that I want to ask you guys about. But let's talk about the rally first. So it's all weekend. What's Cliff? What's happening?
So, anytime I've been doing a lot of these political actions, as you probably know, and sometimes they're on a weekday, and people will go, "No one can come on a weekday. You have to do it on a weekend." And then sometimes we do it on a weekend, and people go, "Congress isn't even there on the weekend. You got to do it on a weekday." So, to combat that, we're doing weekdays and weekend. So Congress will be leaving at the end of the day on Thursday, the 20th.
Hmm.
So we're trying to catch them before they go. And we are going to break the record for the number of people led into Congress to lobby, citizens lobbying for impeachment. We already broke that record on September 2nd, and we're going to blow that record out of the water fivefold, tenfold. I don't know, but it's going to be really big numbers. And, our philosophy on this is these we call them leaders, but they're really not, and not to offend the ones that I'm rooting for, but they really don't lead. They follow what they think that the American people want, and it's our job as citizens to show them what that is. And so going into Congress on Thursday and saying, hey, not only do we want impeachment, if you can't do the bare minimum as a Democrat and support the impeachment of the least popular president in US history, then we're going to primary you. All of us are going to work hard to make sure we get real progressives into office. And let me also throw in the caveat, we understand how impeachment works, we understand what the numbers are, but just like the Epstein files, zero Republicans will get on board until every Democrat is on board. Once that happens, you will see a shift, just like you're seeing a shift now with the Epstein files. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she did not all of a sudden develop morals and ethics and spine and heart. She is a clever enough political player to know which way the wind blows, and she knows the ship's going down and she's jumping off. And it's fascinating that she's one of the only smart ones because I didn't see that coming. But the other ones ought to jump off too. And so, this is our way of showing them what's politically popular and showing them that it's time to have a backbone and say no to this regime, and let's get on to move on with being normal Americans and being regular, sane grown-ups.
Let me ask you how that Thursday action works. Like, what's that look like?
So we'll be meeting at Union Station, Columbus Circle. We've got a permit there for a large number of people. We're probably, we're going to surpass the permit for sure. We'll have a few speakers, including Representative Al Green, who is one of the only people brave enough to really be vocal about impeachment. We'll have speakers, and we'll sort of give all the people in attendance, we'll give them a script. We'll kind of tell them how this goes down and how this works. We've done it a lot, so we really have it pretty fine tuned. And then, depending on if we have 5,000 people, there's 5 congressional buildings. We'll split that into 1,000 per building, and we might send them in waves of 300 and change per wave. We might have to send them in 1 hour waves, but we're gonna run whatever it is. If it's 5,000, if it's 15,000, we're gonna do everything we can to get every one of these bodies through the halls of Congress peacefully, because we're not illiterate rednecks. We're gonna storm the Capitol in the legal and constitutional way, and the way that actually works.
Yeah, Michael, what do you hope to see on Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Well, first, I hope to see a large turnout. I think that a big part of this is trying to create something similar to what we all saw and witnessed with No Kings, but in a centralized location. And different from No Kings, we also have a demand, and that demand is the impeachment and removal of Donald Trump and his administration, which is arguably the most corrupt and lawless administration of our time. if
I
not
think it's not even arguable anymore.
Yeah.
It just
Exactly. And listen, I for those that might be fence sitters on this issue, I would say that the last, Donald Trump was impeached the first time for less, and Bill Clinton was certainly impeached for demonstrably less, conduct than what we've witnessed now in the first 10, 11 months of this administration. But yes, I mean, the point is to get all of these lawmakers on the record as to, whether you are with us or whether you are against us and I say to people, I don't believe that we are going to have free and fair elections come 2026. So this, kind of spineless DNC tactic within the establishment Democratic Party of, well, let's just wait and let this administration, essentially destroy its support with the American people. Well, it's already done that. And they consistently double down on the lawlessness and on the cruelty and the corruption, because they have absolutely no intention of relinquishing power, regardless of what happens in 2026 or 2028. And so the time to act is now. And I agree with Cliff. These Democrats, Republicans, lawmakers, they're not leaders. They are followers. And I describe them as a puppet. And it's up to us, the American people, to stick our hands so far up the ass of that puppet and manipulate their arms and their mouths to do what we, the people, have been demanding now for months, which is to fight back against this administration and ultimately impeach and remove Donald Trump and hold his enablers accountable for the corruption and the criminal acts.
Yeah, Michael, that's an incredible image that will linger with me for a long time. Our hands so far up their asses that we're controlling their arms.
Metaphorically.
Of course. I mean, we're not Republicans.
I'm not into that shit.
It is a great metaphor. When you said it, I immediately thought of a flaccid puppet who doesn't have a spine until a hand gets stuck up there.
Right.
Or like one of those car air things, except instead of a fan, it's democracy, So, Michael, how did you get involved with this?
I mean, I remember going to No Kings 2. I went to both No Kings, but specifically No Kings 2 around that time. I don't know, Cliff, did you reach out to me first or did I reach out to you? I can't remember. Somebody was like, you got to reach out to this guy, Cliff Cash. He's involved.
I was like, Cliff, we had you with Maya May, and I was like, you got to talk to Michael Fanone.
A couple people suggested that we talk before we did. You guys and also Olivia Rose, who helps with Occupy Democrats, and maybe a few other people too. And so we just started talking on Instagram, and I was like, man, we could really use your help putting some voice behind this. Part of the strategy for this thing was, these national groups aren't backing us, which is
right.
Which is a question that everybody needs to ask is, why on earth would a national resistance group not back breaking the record for citizens led into Congress to resist an illegal presidency? Why on earth would they not back a massive turnout in DC to demand impeachment and demand the release of the Epstein files? And so if you're really backing these national groups, maybe question them as to why on earth they wouldn't endorse what we're doing, and maybe talk to them about it, and then kind of analyze whether or not that's where your energy is best directed, or if it would be better directed with us. And a lot of these national groups have gotten a little nervous at some of the groups within our coalition saying that we're getting heat from the feds. And my answer is, some of us are getting heat from the feds because we're making Nazis nervous. And the reason your group isn't getting heat from the feds is because you're not making Nazis nervous. And I want to put my time and energy and money behind groups that are showing up on the front doorsteps of fascists that are attacking our democracy, because we literally are. We are flyering in their neighborhoods. We are handing out flyers about them to their next door neighbors. We are going to their churches. We are going to the Heritage Foundation every Monday. We are protesting
Oh my
Fox
God.
News nationwide. We are applying pressure, and even what we're doing is not enough. So if you're doing none of that, you're not even close to moving the meter.
Right.
It's great that you can protest where you live. It is now time to protest where they live, and they live in Washington D.C. And that's where we gotta show up. This guy's on the ropes. He's on the ropes. He's beat up. And when your opponent is on the ropes, it's not a time to take a water break. It's time to throw an uppercut. And that's what next weekend could be. Devastating optics for a regime that's already being hit with kryptonite 5 times
Yeah.
a week.
And just to add to that, I mean, when your opponent is on the ropes, it's usually when they start to resist and fight back the hardest, which is why we've seen, this applied pressure campaign on behalf of the Trump administration to do anything that it can to, one, distract the American people, but also to punish the American people for resisting the administration in the way that they had. But that, I mean, Cliff just hit the nail on the head. I mean, what attracted me to this organization is that it is a true grassroots organization. And, I'll say this about, the lack of support from some of these national level organizations. And this event is not about platforming politicians and giving them a stage and a crowd to speak in front of. This is about action. It's about actually accomplishing something. And quite frankly, it's bipartisan. This is a movement of American people that are done, that have had enough of the Trump administration, but also the divisive politics. And we're here to put everyone on the record and hold everyone accountable. Like I said before, you're either for us or you're against us. There's no middle ground. There's no in between. And I think that makes a lot of Democrats really uncomfortable.
I mean, yeah, fair. I think you're probably right. But I think, look, the No Kings was, when we covered No Kings, there's a lot of comments in the chat, and the chat is, as you guys know, it's always right. Right. The chat is like the gold standard for opinions. This chat actually is really good. Anyway, the chat was like, look, how is showing up at a protest actually doing anything? You're talking about doing something. And I think No Kings is great because you get to see the people who are on your side, and it feels empowering and connective and all of those kinds of things. But the Democrats or the pro-democracy side is such a vast and diverse group of people, ideologically and otherwise. The only chance we have, right, is to collaborate in mass. How do we? I mean, I love this idea of actually doing fucking something.
Yeah.
And not just holding signs. Holding signs has its place, like I said, but what do we do in our own? Like, we can't get to DC, or we can't protest where they are. What are we doing? How do we support you?
I've been telling folks it seems like such a simple thing, and it is. It's an easy thing. But making this image that you showed a moment ago, the main protest poster,
Yep.
November 20th through the 22nd, make that your profile picture on all the platforms that you're on, and make a post asking other people to do that too. That can spread. I mean, we saw that during Black Lives Matter. People did like the blackout where everyone changed their profile picture to just a black screen, and it just flooded social media and it raised awareness. And those little things are just these critical mass movements that all of a sudden enough people tell enough people, and 10 million people make that their profile picture, and it spreads awareness within 6 hours of DC, and all of a sudden an extra 10,000 people plan to drive into the city that day, because now we're 4 or 5 days out, and it's unlikely that doing this broadcast or other things like it probably won't get somebody to buy a flight from Alaska today, although it's possible. But what we need to do at this point, this late in the game before the protest, we got to really focus on Baltimore, Bethesda, Silver Spring, Fredericksburg, Richmond, even Philly, all these sort of satellite cities that are close to DC. These people could drive in for the day and drive home and get in bed at a decent hour. And so we're really asking people to do that. If you're in Seattle and you can't come, or even if you're in Richmond, but you're a caretaker for an elderly person that can't be alone, whatever it is, whatever reason you can't come, if you know people in Richmond, you know people in Baltimore, Fredericksburg, any of these areas close to DC, please tell folks about it and encourage them to come. Things like this only matter if they are huge. I already know it's going to be big because I'm seeing in my comments on social media people saying, I'll be there Wednesday night from Arizona. I'm coming from Utah. I'm coming from Missouri. I'm coming from Montana. People coming literally from every state in the United States to be part of this. So I know it's going to be big. We need it to be huge. And the world needs it to be huge because this is a message not just to the cult. This is a message to the cult. We're done. P.S. cult, a lot of your cult is also done. Even the cult members are like, you know what? I was really down with JFK still being alive and showing up in Dallas, but I'm starting to think Epstein's best friend might not really hashtag save the children. It's a message to the cult. It's also a message to Democrats. Look out your window and see these, whatever the crowd ends up being, 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people, whatever it ends up being. Look out your window and see them. Stick your finger in the air and see which way the wind blows. It's time to have a spine. It's time to support impeachment. It's time to do whatever we have to do to remove not just him, them. They're breaking the law in their sleep. They're breaking 10 laws a day. The emoluments clause has been shredded to bits. The Constitution is being attacked. Democracy itself is being attacked. This Supreme Court is bought and paid for. This is an absolutely illegal regime. Fascism is already in full effect, and we're either going to really be the United States of America and we're going to stand up and stop this, or we're going to be cowards and we're going to lay down and let it happen to us. I don't intend to be one of the people who lays down and lets it happen. So, in this late hour, changing your profile pic, sending a donation at removetheregime.com, encouraging people within a short day's drive of DC to get there. Those are the things that help the most, for sure.
I think, back to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I mean, I would never look. I think it was politically smart. I don't think she's a smart person, but I think what she's doing is politically smart because. Go ahead, Mike.
She's also a woman scorned.
Yes.
This is a person who sought. She wanted to run to be a senator. The Trump administration told her no, and knocked her down from that. She wanted a leadership role within the House, and she didn't get that. And so I think that this is two parts. First and foremost, I think she's looking out for herself and her political career. But I think she also saw what was inside those Epstein files, or at least spoke with survivors and heard, directly from their mouths the things that that this administration has been covering up and who they've been covering up for. And I think she knows that once all that information is inevitably exposed, that's going to spell the end of Donald Trump. And he truly will be lame duck. Hopefully he'll be lame duck, no longer president, and sitting in a fucking jail cell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amen. I think, she's interesting because she understands, I think what we understand and what we're saying is that this shit it's collapsing. He is
100%.
is in total disarray. He's against the ropes. And of course, that's a very dangerous moment when a guy like him finds that he's losing. He's liable to get really wild. But I think she's looking to fill the vacuum, right, that appears when he's gone, which I think is another reason why this and rallies like this and what you're doing are so important, because we can't let them fill the fucking vacuum.
No.
Right.
We have to fill that vacuum. How do we do that?
I mean, I think it's time for the Democratic Party to like really, really take the pulse of the country. You know, I recognize that some areas are going to be more spam burger leaning, and I'm okay with that too. But in large part, especially these young people that are coming of age to vote, who have only experienced chaos in their lifetimes, who have never had a political leader they could really believe in or feel good about.
Right.
These young people want more Mamdanis. They want more AOC. They want more Yasmin Crockett. They want more James Tallarico. They want people who can get on a stage and not just sound smart. A lot of these leaders in the Democratic Party get up and give TED Talks, and we don't need TED Talks. We need motivational speakers. We need people that can get on a podium and make you believe in your country again and make you believe that it can be what it's always pretended it was. And we have to give people what they want, and people want free or at least affordable health care. People don't want to be so strapped with debt that they can't buy a home. They want to be able to afford a home. There needs to be enough homes.
But
People
Cliff,
want it. People
we
want to see
have
capitalism regulated.
we have a 50-year mortgage on the table.
Oh my God. Did you, by the way, the New York Times Daily did a little piece on that today. And it was like, if you just have a 30-year mortgage, on average, you'll end up paying around, what was it? Like 500,000, like on a 500,000 mortgage,
Yeah,
500,000 in interest.
at least twice. Yeah.
Yeah. On the 50-year, it's like 900,000.
900. Yeah. Yeah.
It's brilliant. So smart.
Banks love it, I'm
He's
sure.
laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah. What a piece of shit.
The same banks that laundered Donald Trump's money to and from the Russians and Jeffrey Epstein's money to and from Donald Trump and the Russians. I'm sure they will love that 50-year mortgage.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So I have a couple of questions for you guys that are sort of unrelated to the rally. Cliff, I'm just wondering if you're going to stop booking New York because of Sharia and like socialism and stuff. If that's on the table for you.
Probably. I'm so scared of radical Islam that I only support the president who just had an Al Qaeda leader in his office on Veterans Day. This Mamdani guy with his extreme views like affordable food, I can't get behind that. But I do love the president who had Taliban leaders show up at Camp David right before he released 5,000 of them. These people are
That
too
was on
stupid.
9/11, by the way. He had
Yeah.
the Taliban at Camp David on 9/11.
They're too dumb to even understand what irony is, let alone how to employ it. And it's truly fascinating to watch.
It is. It feels like a like if they were thinking, how can we look like cartoon villains?
Yeah.
Let's do all of those things.
Dumb
mean,
cartoon villains.
that kills me with all that crap because all my friends in the military, whether they're active duty or retired, that still support Donald Trump. I just can't. I can't. This guy literally does everything. Like every act is a slap in the face to men and women that serve this country. But everything he says is, I love the military. And are you that dumb? Are you so devoid of critical thinking that all it takes for you to be won over is for him to, molest a fucking American flag on a stage and then tell you how much he loves the servicemen and women? I'll never. That's one of the eighth wonders of the world.
To make all of the top brass come to DC and just ramble off bullshit.
Yeah.
It's weird. It is a
guy
weird, unserious thing.
A guy covered in white supremacy tattoos telling them they're not in good enough shape, while the commander in chief has swollen burgundy cankles that he has to fist into height adjusting dress shoes, with a literal vulva on his neck, who eats steak and ketchup every meal and is addicted to stimulants and Diet Coke and poops in a diaper and paints his face orange every day. It's like, I don't know how anybody takes him seriously. But to be like an educated like officer of the military and take that guy seriously takes an extraordinary amount of mental gymnastics for sure.
Wait, so Cliff, what radicalized you? Like, how did you get into the position of being such a powerful spokesman against this regime?
Basic human decency radicalized me. Uh, no, I mean, I'm from North Carolina, some relatively small town North Carolina, and I grew up like hardcore Southern Baptist youth group where people sang with their arms in the air. If you didn't raise your hands, you don't really love Jesus. Uh, and my dad worked on a pit crew when they still raced NASCAR on dirt. I mean, it was well
Whoa.
before I was born, of course. But that's what I come from, is like Southern Baptist NASCAR. My dad was the first one from his family to go to college. Both my parents were raised by mill workers in mill villages. And the other end of that spectrum was when I was 15, I got drunk for the first time, and I called my sister, who's 11 years older than me, and I coaxed it out of her that to come out of the closet to me. I thought she was gay, and I was like, you know what? I got some liquid courage in me. I'm going for it. And so she came out of the closet to me at 15. We kept that
Wow.
a secret from my parents for another 9 years.
Wow.
But in that moment, I was already like, smoking weed and listening to the Beastie Boys and stuff. But I was already questioning, like, if God really is real, why is he letting all these people starve to death? Because I'd been hearing about the people starving my whole life, because it was like, you need to eat your food, people are starving. And I'm like, y'all keep telling me about God. Why is he letting all these people starve? So I was already starting to be relatively intellectual enough to at least question fairy tales. And then I became an ally for myself. It's either I'm going to be a really terrible brother, or I'm going to be an ally for my sister that I love very much. And then I like read books and went to college, and it just kind of happened. Um, I read enough books to want hungry people to have food and sick people to have health care, but not so many books that it made me gay. Because if you read enough books, it
I
just
mean,
turns you gay. That's what I heard. Ron DeSanctimonious told me that.
it's
It,
I've heard it's true.
it's
It's
true.
why I don't read. I don't read a single word.
No.
Not ever.
If you read the word gay, you're done. There's nothing you're just gay.
It's true. Which, by the way, this whole story is I mean, first of all, this it's Drudge. Susan Demas, my partner here at Lincoln Square, was like, Drudge, they made their big push by in the Monica Lewinsky situation.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's like full circle, this crazy thing. But
Yeah.
this is one of the, like, as goofy and obviously, ripe for puns as this story is, it's also like you can he can he can go into the Miss Teen Universe locker room and ogle our daughters and abuse 12 and 13 and 14-year-old girls. But if he's like polishing off Bill Clinton or some other Bubba, as it were, that's a bridge too far. It's so fucked up.
It's fascinating. I don't care
It's
what their
fascinating.
breaking point is, but let's get to it. Let's hurry up and expedite this thing. If gayness is what makes you jump the ship, then he did gay shit. Jump the ship. Like I want to the question about what radicalized me. I'm now doing this work has now consumed a lot of my life. I'm doing
Yeah.
more political stuff than I'm doing family stuff. I'm doing more of this than I'm focusing on my own career. And I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I don't want to run for I have no political aspirations. I like DC to visit once a year. I don't want to go there 15 times in 1 year. I'm doing this because I feel like I have to, and I feel like there's not enough real leadership happening within the party, so that regular citizens like us have to step up and do it. But I got a really good life. I've got a really beautiful and kind, amazing woman. I've got beautiful kids. I've got a great family. I love my job. I want to get back to my life. I don't want to do this anymore. So I don't care what their breaking point is. Let's just find it and get to it so that our country can go back to some kind of normalcy. And I don't want to go back to the status quo. I want to go forward to affordable healthcare, affordable housing, affordable college, equality, making racists scared to talk again, pushing those bigoted simpletons back into the shadows of society. But I'm ready to, let's do it. I don't want to do this for 10 more years. I want to knock these people out and get back to living my normal life.
Amazing. And you're doing some shows with your brother on the way to DC, is that right?
We're doing another political action. So on Wednesday morning, we're going to meet on the steps of the state capitol in North Carolina. As you know, North Carolina is further gerrymandering. I mean, this is a state with a pretty even split of Democrats and Republicans, but the representatives in DC are 11-4. So it's evidence of pre-existent gerrymandering. They've also really sort of chopped up the state constitution to the point that they've really kind of handcuffed the governor. The governor does not have the powers that a state governor usually would and should. So now they're talking about further gerrymandering to get another seat out of the state so they can help this dying dirty diaper pedophile with cankles stay in the White House, or all his sycophants to stay in power. And I can't speak for everybody that's showing up, but we're going to lead these people into these offices. And my message is to their faces: if you think you're going to further gerrymander this state to keep these soft-handed country club fascists in power, I'm telling you to your face right now, you're going to have to beat me to do it. And I don't intend to give up. I got a bigger reach than you. I'm better with words than you are. I will show up here every week. I'll put on a nicer suit than you got, and I'm going to verbally beat your ass until this is done. And all these people are here with me that feel the same. My brother's a New York Times bestselling author. He just won, literally this week, Wednesday night, won the North Carolina Award, which is the biggest award you can get in the state, given to him by the governor for literature. So,
He did? What's the book? What book did he? That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, he's written 4. So the award is just for Lifetime Achievement Award, but his books are A Land More Kind Than Home, This Dark Road to Mercy, The Last Ballad, and When Ghosts Come Home. And he's got one coming out this spring, will be his 5th book. He's won awards, all over the country and in some other countries. But, Wiley and I recognize that our inherent privilege as white men, first of all, as middle class, Southern, straight white men, that we can do things other people can't do and still feel safe. But also the privilege of like having a platform and having a voice and a reach. And so that's our goal, is to use that to fight back against them. And whether they like it or not, these small town country club wannabe aristocrats who have weaseled their way into our state legislature, they're small time in every way. I mean, and not that your following represents what kind of human being you are, but Wiley and my combined following is probably bigger than the combined following of every single Republican in the state legislature of the state. And so we're going to use it. We're going to use it, and we're going to go after them, and we're going to raise money to go after them. We're going to put billboard trucks outside their houses. We're going to direct mail to their neighborhoods. We're running Democrats as Republicans. Like, wow. We are no punches pulled. We're going after this North Carolina GOP like it has deserved for a long time. If nobody else is going to do it, then we're going to do that too. And then I'm going to sleep sometime in 2030.
Well, who's going to protest Don Jr.'s presidency? I don't know.
I'll do that too.
Guys, I appreciate you showing up, and really we appreciate the work. I'll repost this chat, and we'll put links and everything in the text of the post. But go, everyone, you got to go here. You can donate, you can get involved, or better yet, add this to your social media tags. We really need a lot of people to get there this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it's going to be fun too. It's not like This is not like a job or a chore. This is a time to get together and do something really good and fun.
And that's part of it is, anybody that is planning on coming that might be watching this, we're also going to have nighttime events. And the way this is set up, these nighttime events fund the daytime events. So on the 22nd, we're going to have Dropkick Murphys live at that big main rally. Earth to Eve is going to open the day. We're going to have a ton of speakers, including me and Michael. And it's essentially a massive outdoor concert. We have to construct a huge stage, screens, sound, porta-johns, security. And unlike these big national groups, we're going into this with zero coffers. We didn't go, hey, we got $1 million, let's do an event. We went, hey, let's do an event and figure out a way to pay for it. Yeah, so we are still a pretty decent way away from the finish line to pay for all this stuff without a couple of us who are most involved, without us losing our asses, fingers crossed. So the nighttime events, there's a VIP meet and greet with every political content creator you can think of all in one place. And then that's on Thursday night. Friday night is a comedy show. Myself, Father Nathan Monk, Andy Haynes, hosted by Larry Fulford. John Pavlovitz is going to give the foreword. And it's in a church. We're calling it Comedy Church, a political comedy catharsis.
Throw that up
There's
again.
General admission tickets to that as well. And then on Friday is kind of the wrap party for the whole weekend, the after party. And that is Earth to Eve, Gwen Levy and the Breakdown, a punk band called All Strike, and this really great hip hop collective called Freedom Futures Collective. So 4 bands on one stage, cash bar. That's going to be a really fun party. You can get tickets to all those things or donate to be part of the VIP aspect of it at removetheregime.com. All those events are how we are funding this larger action. So please help if you can.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. And good luck. And Michael, we'll see you tomorrow night on strategy session with Rick. And
that's right. I'll be there.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
Cliff. Thanks, Sam.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you Wednesday night.